Does Turkey have plans to invade Syria amid that rising conflict? Well, Turkish media is reporting that the Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan has taken to Twitter to emphasize that he just won't stand for terror organizations taking advantage of the environment along the Turkish border. Now, this comes as their National Security Council meets to discuss those plans to send troops to set up a buffer zone to prevent the formation of a Kurdish state in Syria. This would mean that Kurdish fighters who are currently pushing back ISIS, they would be targeted by Turkey as well as ISIS. And Jose, that's not necessarily a good thing here because they're actually standing their ground fighting back ISIS. You know, we discussed them on the lip a few days ago, stating that they might have already taken Raqqa, or they're in the process of taking back Raqqa from ISIS. Now, if Turkey gets involved, it has serious implications for everyone, especially those Kurdish fighters.
I mean, and also in the global scape is really, really important. It's good to recall that Turkey is the second biggest army in NATO, just behind the US. And we don't necessarily know exactly how much of that military power has been lended or supported by the US, but the fact that they're taking their own route and kind of putting the US on the spot, saying like, we are going to move forward against the threat of ISIS, we're going to protect our borders, but this equals to an invasion because this is literally trying to create this buffer zone on Syria territory versus defending Turkish territory. So this might set precedent for other countries to try to get into that territory and take a chunk of Syria that it's really, really deep into a civil conflict that allows for many different players to try to take, advantage of it.
Right. Well, we're trying to get ahead of this story, and we anticipate that Turkey's invasion of that Syrian border might be imminent. Now, here's what Reuters News said in response to possibly why they're doing this and the U.S. and what our role should be. They said, but Erdogan, the drum beating may be a gambit aimed at influencing the U.S.-led coalition in Syria and bolstering his popularity at home after a major election setback. They're basically saying that Erdogan is doing this for personal gain, that he wants the credibility among his own people, and he's also trying to push the U.S.-led coalition into acting along with him.
Of course, and it's something that he might be copying from Russia and from different states where these bellic acts and celebrating the war culture is creating this nationalistic approach where many leaders are getting benefited by that. But the reality is that the more we try to grow this conflict and have different players, the long consequences that we're going to be facing about it. Turkey has 500,000 military members on their army, combined air forces, navy, the troops, and they almost have 1.5 million in reserve. So this is a sizable army that they could employ anytime to defend the border, and not only defend the border, but advance in the territory, try to take control, and again, all based on sect violence.
Right. Well, Turkey's involvement in this, it could potentially escalate Turkey's role in this conflict. But also, you mentioned Russia. Syria, Assad has very strategic partners in Iran and Syria and Russia, respectively. And this could impact the relationship that Turkey has with those countries if they decide to invade. But regardless, this is preemptive news. They haven't formally made a statement that they're doing this. We anticipate that they're going to do it. We'd certainly love to know what you think at home about Turkey's involvement in Syria, as well as them targeting specifically Kurdish fighters. Please log on, post your comments below about this story. While you're at it, be sure and check out the rest of our channel and subscribe to the Lip TV 2 for more.